Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, it's the draft guru, Danny Savage. Now, let's be honest, guys. It's a Friday in June. It's hot as balls out there. And how many guys you know have been watching college football tape all day? Me. That's why when you're rocking with the Guru World Order, you can't lose. Can't lose. Today we're going to be talking about linebackers, part two. I think it's a very strong class this year. And one of the differences I've been noticing is this year's linebackers, I don't know if it's a trend in college or if we're going to start seeing it in the NFL. But what I'm seeing is a much bigger player playing inside. I don't know if some of these teams are bulking up their guys because they saw what Michigan did this past season and what they're going to try to do again this season, but they lost too many starters. So I don't see them doing it. But we all know the NFL, college football, it's a copycat league. So you're going to see, besides Ohio State having three knockout wide receivers and two great running backs, you're going to see them try to pound the ball on everybody, bring in heavy formations. So it only seems natural if you want to play bully ball, the only way you can do that is by having bigger players. And I'm seeing a lot of linebackers that are much bigger. So today is part two of linebacker watch list. You're going to get a part three because there's way too many guys I can't leave off. I'm going to throw you six dudes today that have crazy potential. Out of the six guys today, I wouldn't be surprised if at least four of them are in the top 10 this year. But I think overall it's going to be a very, I think it's going to be a healthy class this year's linebacker class. And just like I've been saying over and over in all my drafts, I see the first round being a defensive heavy draft. So we'll see what happens. We have a long time to go before here or there. First kid is out of Rutgers, Mohamed Toure, his name is. Middle linebacker, 6'2, 240. Kid's a 3-year starter. And the thing about him is he excels at playing against the run. When you think about it, if when you're playing in the Big Ten, you got to have a little bit extra. You better not be light in your ass if you're going to play middle linebacker. So he excels at stopping the run, and he's a very, very, very underrated prospect that is not getting any love except on my channel. That's why I'm the best. Like I said, this kid has tools for days, so he's a name to watch out for on Saturdays this year, and he's a name to also watch out for draft weekend. Rutgers is going to surprise a lot of people this year, a lot of people this year, because like from a handicap and perspective, not having and a prop perspective, not having Michigan, not having Ohio State, and not having Penn State on your schedule, that's a lot. So and they had a tremendous recruiting class this year. So also what happens to Rutgers too is there's a saying, if New Jersey, and this they've been saying this since I was a kid, if New Jersey for such a small state ever could keep all its talent home every single year, they would be in the top 10 every single year. Because you'd be surprised for such a small state how many powerhouse high schools there are and how much talent comes out of the state. We can go on and on and on, and I could just name players. And I'll put this state up against any larger state, and we can go back and forth. Granted, the Floridas, the Texases, I'm trying to say, they just not no one's going to beat them. and you got your California. You know what I'm trying to say? So, but many other states, I'll put their prospects up against anyone. So that was my first guy, Mohamed Toure. Second kid is Jay Higgins, Iowa. He's been around. He's a 3-year starter. He's on the bigger side also too. He's 6'2", 240. He'll be a 23-year-old rookie, so it's not that bad. So now, same thing. He's a beast against the run, and he has the size. Iowa, it's just I don't know. The last couple of years, they've just led the Big Ten in defense year after year after year. And that's how they play their offense. That's why a lot of their offensive players don't get the recognition they deserve just because they play in a very conservative offense. So that's that. The third kid actually. This is a kid. He's I think he's a sleeper, but he's doing everything that he should do. His name is Jason Henderson, and he plays at a little old college named Old Dominion, and that's in Virginia. He's 6'3", 240. Now, when the NFL sees a prospect come out of a small school like that, they expect him to dominate the competition. And that's one thing this kid does. He dominates at his level. Now, the $1 million question is, can he do it on the next level? He's playing up against like he's the big fish in a small pond. He might get swallowed up when he gets into that pond where everybody's just as big, just as good as him. That remains to be seen, but he is getting a lot of looks and a lot of love, and a lot of people are talking about this kid. Listen, he could have a bad year. He can blow his knee out next week, and we might never hear about him again. And he could be a day three guy or undrafted free agent. It all depends. But if he continues down the rate that he's been going, he's a name to watch out for this fall. And I know, like, unless you're look, but you're gonna, but even okay, I don't know why people have problems finding tape, as some content creators say, because you can type in any college's name in on this app, and the games are gonna pop up. You can pop in any game live on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and someone, some geek in his basement is playing the game, is showing the game. That's why I don't understand why people have problems finding tape, or they just use that as an excuse. Because I know I watch tape. I know a lot of other people that say they do, but they really don't. Because maybe because everyone could do that. All these so-called draft experts, ask them who their top fives, top 10 are. Now, they ain't gonna have a name for you. Listen, I'm not stupid. I might look it, but I'm not. They all wait to Dane Brugler puts out his beast, and then everybody comes out with their rankings. Bro, you're not a draft guy. All you are is a copy and paste chimp. They might have better graphics than me, but I'll get to that. But nobody works harder than me. Nobody's going to watch more football than me. So that's what gives me an advantage. Plus, I actually enjoy it. I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed coaching it. If I was a few more inches taller, a lot better things would have happened. But I can't be mad at my parents for making me the height that I am. But, okay. Next kid. I'm having problems with these names today. Joshawn Barham. Now, he originally started at Maryland. 2-year starter at Maryland. and now he transferred to Michigan. Same thing. This kid's huge, 6'3", 250. So not only like Michigan had a good defense, and now they just upgraded it even more with this monster. So it's like it's crazy. Michigan's going to have a crazy, crazy defense this year, and if they're going to have any success, their defense is going to have to win games for them or keep games close because they only got one guy returning on offense, which is the tight end, Colston Loveland, and the defense. But the defense returns, I believe, like 9 starters, and they rotate 8 D linemen. So they have a lot of experience on defense coming back, and their safety is good. They got a good corner. They got big linebackers, and they got solid. They got like 3 really solid 2D tackles that are super solid, which I've mentioned before, Gant and Mason Graham, and then the kid Derek Moore at defensive end. And all those kids played crazy, crazy snaps in the national championship game and in the playoffs. Last kid is none of them having these names today. Samuel Mondoon, Georgia. What can I say about Georgia and their middle linebackers? This kid is a physical freak. We all know Georgia does not like giant linebackers. So this kid is more on the slender side. He's 6'3", 225, probably with pads on. So some teams might look at him as a safety. Other teams might say, yo, we'll throw 15 pounds on this kid. But we all know, like, Georgia likes their huge D tackles, which they got this one kid. I had him ranked last year, but he came back, Nazir Stackhouse. He's a huge kid. He returned for school. He'll be in my part 2 defensive tackle rankings. The kid's like 6'6", 350. Georgia likes their huge D tackles, and they like their linebackers to be on the, I'm not going to say smaller side, but the athletic side. So far, what I'm seeing is a trend of a lot bigger linebackers. And like I was saying earlier, it's a copycat league. Teams are going to copycat. Every team is going to try to copycat to see what Michigan did. Same thing with NFL. It's a copycat league. But it's like what Michigan did was basic X's and O's. They lined up in a heavy formation and they said, stop us. And nobody could. And let me tell you something. It's like when you're getting the ball jammed down as a defense, you're getting the ball jammed down your throat for 4 quarters. It's very disheartening. It really is. And it really can break your will. And that's what they did. But all their goon linemen uh, graduated and went on to the NFL. But like I said, they do have it, not a young, but they're young, but they're experienced line. But like I said, it's a copycat league. So you're seeing teams go with bigger guys inside. That's just what I'm getting so far. So right now, I just dropped linebacker part 2. So you should have 11 to 12 linebackers. I want, we're definitely going to get up to at least 20 to 25 players per position before this is all over. Because I'm sorry, this is not the channel that you're going to hear me talk about Dak Prescott and his contract every day. Wrong channel. You're not going. This is not the channel where you're going to hear me. Oh, we signed somebody from the XFL, UFL, FU league. No, I'm not going to just go on and talk about. I can listen. I get it. It's hard to make content every day, but if you don't have a creative mind, and not when you're doing what I'm doing. So you're not going to see me. This is if you. It's the wrong channel. if you want to hear somebody talk about Dak. It's just the wrong channel. If you want to see him, you say, yeah, Deuce Vaughn, who's like 5'4", looks like he's going to have 2,000 yards this year. Wrong channel. It's the wrong channel for you to hear. Yeah, Zeke's going to have 1,000 yards and be the MVP, which all our fans think. And I'll put it out there because I'm a betting man. I'll put it out there that Zeke does not rush for more than 250 yards. I'll put it out there. I'll bet anybody that Zeke does not rush for more than 750 yards this season. And we can pick whatever content creator to hold the money. We'll both cash out them that money. But that's how convinced Zeke was brought back just to sell jerseys. And I'm also convinced Dak's never going to win a Super Bowl. I'll put that same bet out there, and you could pick any content creator can hold that money. I am a Dallas fan. Yes, I am. I bleed blue and silver. But this is my channel. This is a draft channel. 365 days a year, 24/7. But it's a way also to, like, I love the preseason. I love watching preseason games because I get to watch every team's preseason games, and I get to watch kids that I scouted in college and now see how they're performing in the NFL. So I think it would suck if the NFL next year tries to go to 2 preseason games and then they want like no OTAs and no mini camps, and then they just want to have a longer camp. I think it would suck for the rookies, and you're going to miss on like some gems because they're not having a chance to play because they really don't hit in practice. But in the same token, I also think having a longer, more physical camp is going to reduce injuries, especially non-contact injuries that we all see in the NFL early in the season. And also, just is just my opinion, I think the first 3 weeks of the NFL is very, very sloppy football. I mean, let's be honest. Like the first regular season games, they're really not great games to watch. They're really not crisp. You see a lot of offsides. You see a lot of penalties. You see dudes running wrong routes, and it's just because they haven't had a chance to play together. And you see all these freak injuries. It's because there's 2 types of shapes. There's shape that you're in shape cardiovascular. Then there's hitting shape. And there's only one way to get in hitting shape. That's by actual hitting. Jimmy Johnson, when he was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, the first day of training camp, it would be live, 11 on 11. You know why? Because he wanted to see who was working out in the off season. He wanted to see who was and who wasn't. He wants to see who a dog is. Getting back to the combine real quick, then I'm going to end this stream. Running a 4.3 don't impress me. I want to see what you run your 40 in the fourth quarter when you're tired and your ass is dragging. That's what impresses me. What can you run in the fourth quarter when you got nothing left? And you see your teammates, they got nothing left, but you got to motivate them and motivate yourself. I want to see what you run in the fourth quarter. So tomorrow we're gonna swing back around, and we're gonna give offensive tackle part 2. We're gonna go tomorrow. Then we're gonna go Sunday will be guard. Monday will be center. Then we'll go back to safeties and corners and wide receivers, and then we'll flip back around again. And like I said, we're going to leave quarterbacks for last. Tomorrow, I got another shocker for you. I got not a shocker, but I got a kid that's not getting a lot of love. A 3-year starter left tackle that has a walk-on with crazy size that some NFL coach is going to fall in love with his size and his athletic ability, and he's going to say, I can make something out of this guy. But you got to tune in tomorrow. Like and subscribe. It doesn't cost a dime. When you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Thank you, everyone.